Alrighty then. What is going on, everyone? Happy Monday, happy November, and welcome back to another edition of our Monday night online open mic. What's up? What's up? What's up? My name is Richie David Marrufo. I'll be your MC and host today, and we are presented by the Barbed Wire Open Mic Series out of El Paso, Texas. But because this is an online open mic, we have people joining us from all over the country and all over the world. Happy to have you guys here with us. I do see we have a couple people that are already here. What's up? What's up? Good to see you guys. Yeah, feel free to hang out with us in the live chat. I will give shout outs throughout the night as I try my best to do. And of course, you guys, as our audience, please, interact with us in the live chat. I always love to see people participating via comments, even if it's just emojis. If there's a poem that you think is particularly fire, do not hesitate to use that flame emoji, or see what fits based on the topic of the poem. Otherwise, welcome back, guys. We've been doing this every Monday online since April of 2020. That's wild, getting ready pretty close to head into 2025. But we're happy to be here with you guys. This is like any other open mic. If you want to perform, all you have to do is sign up. The link to sign up is usually in the description of these videos. So if you just stumbled in, you may have a chance to sign up. Does look like we have a pretty decent and healthy list today. But we could probably squeeze you in, is what I'm saying. The other thing is we're here every Monday. So if you just want to check it out and maybe join us the following week, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, we encourage you guys to, if you live in the El Paso region, to check us out not only online but in person. That's right. We have in-person mics all throughout the month, including at Old Sheepdog Brewery the last Thursday of every month. We just had that one last week. That was hosted successfully by Kit Wren there, who will be reading tonight. We have a monthly show at Craft Within Brews. That is another brewery. And by the way, the breweries are all ages. They're not bars, right? So if you are under 21, you can still attend. So definitely worth checking out. Every Tuesday, we are downtown El Paso at either Mono Bar or Rosewood. So this week, we're returning to Rosewood Bar. We took a month off just because of scheduling stuff. We couldn't really have one, but it is the return of our Verse and Harmony open mic. That is an open mic for writers and musicians. Sign up starts at 8, show starts at 9. Again, this is in downtown El Paso, Rosewood Bar. Next week we will be at Mona Bar right next door. Same owners, two very different vibes. And yeah, we'll be switching each week. So that's the way that works. Otherwise, we usually have special events planned. Be on the lookout for that. And the best way to keep up with everything is to follow us on social media. If you have not been doing so already, one is if you're on this YouTube channel, one thing that can help us is if you subscribe to our page. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. And of course, interaction goes a long way. If you like the video, if you comment, and share the link with your friends who might like this kind of stuff, that always helps boost the signal out to more people and hopefully in support of the arts. All right, so like any other open mic, we do have a fine list of performers, a lot of poets. I don't know if we maybe a little bit of music. Yeah, we do have at least one music inclined act today. Yeah, it's a lot of poets today from all over. So definitely this is a platform for people to share what's on their mind, get things off of their chest, whether it be something they just wrote this morning or 5 minutes ago, or maybe it's something that they found in a closet from high school and they dusted off an old notebook. It could also be a cover. The cover poem is something that we do a tradition to give tribute to a writer of any sort that we look up to or want to share that might fit topically or thematically with the season. Otherwise, happy to have you guys all here. This is the part of the show where I talk the most. So last note, if you are an EPCC student here for the Tejano Passport QR code, I do have some things I will ask you to do. Is one, stick around as long as you can. Try and listen to and watch to as many performers. I will be leaving the description of what to do in the live chat. So if you guys be on the lookout there, but just essentially, I'm going to ask you guys to email me. I will leave my email in the live chat, so you guys be on the lookout for that. But you can also find me through the EPCC directory. You can just look up my name right there. I teach at Rio Grande campus, so you can also find me that way. Otherwise, let's go ahead and kick things off. So, we're gonna kick. Let's see. Oh, okay. Some people aren't here yet, so I'm moving them down the list. But we're gonna start things off in El Paso, EP, where we have. Let's see, where is she? Okay, okay. Always rocking the coolest hats. Always with the Medusa costume. This Thursday was fire. It was really fun. I saw quite a few people turn into stone right in front of her. It was awesome. So ready to kick it off. Let's welcome Robin Schofield to the show. Hey, Robin. Happy Monday.
Hey Richie, happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. Thanks for coming out to the open mic. And if you're listening in the future, then happy November. So it was recently Day of the Dead. And so I'm going to read an elegy or two. Yeah, I'm going to read two elegies and then some other things. This one is called Academic Decathlon for David Cox, 1987 to 2005. David felt something like an artichoke in his belly. His parents received the grave news and flew to New York City to the hospital where Dr. Ewing of Ewing sarcoma had practiced. David got the tumor taken out, got chemo, got radiation, lost his hair, and practiced the guitar he kept at hand. Cut CDs of his band, the Fedoras. Felt time as the hiss of a lobster dropped in the pot, hot in his ear. His blonde ringlets sprang back in time for his senior year. He won a full scholarship, was voted best boy, and at graduation spoke of how we need inner strength for the future. Though he only had no hope of renaissance, what the team had studied that year. In June, refused by one battle of the bands contest over some paperwork snafu, David said, "Let's find another. Let's don't waste time." The family knew in May, and most people guessed why he went to the hospital in September instead of his first year at St. Mary's, but had a hint to my son, whose only prayer was that David be well. A year after graduation, he trudged to the funeral along with fellow members of the academic decathlon team. They stood in the desert sun and debated no issues, only the lives given and the one taken. They vowed to speak his name, though he had graduated to the next level ahead of them all. Now, this one is about my nephew. It's called Time, the Fire in Which We Burn, for Jeremy Lee Wren, 1973 to 2006. In a universe of no boundaries, time is imaginary. It doesn't roll, it doesn't go by, it doesn't flow, it doesn't bring Jeremy to the Navy or to Reno. In imaginary time, he's there already, sculpting tiny clay animals for his grandma, a ski trip to the Alps, art galleries, and a dog named Maggie. Many girlfriends like Michelle we knew from his high school. In imaginary time, there are no singularities. Time can move backward and forward. In real time, he was a teenager in my living room, playing with my LPs, teaching my toddler son to draw on the walls before he was a kid on a go-kart who didn't know how to stop, just go, go. In imaginary time, he lights down the black diamond slope, never coming to the bottom. In real time, his chestnut hair, olive skin, and aquamarine eyes, a weather of lake and sky. In imaginary time, his eyes still roll in their orbits, his hands pound on the doors, seeking the 30-odd people he rescues from the fire. In real time, the hypotenuse between curved stairs and spitting embers caught him by the brocade curtains in the north wing, Mitzvah Hotel, Reno, Nevada, Halloween, 10 p.m., 2006, his pure going, his real-time disappearance. Okay, those are my elegies. I put them together all in one book at one point, and people said it was too sad to read. Well, this one's a little different. A dead person came to visit me and gave me this poem. So I call it Dickinson's Occasion of an Unopened Bloom. One message I sent on a bee wing, fragile nature in all her mathematical finery, her most precious stones saved for evening time, fire-laced. The bumblebee drinks the flower, gravity unremarked. The pistol in the pedal, the pinpricks of the 6 thread-like legs, and this reveals what? Burger, bungler, barker, beehive keeper too, tell me. Frost on the window, the circle squared, one letter to be changed, if only you would come. Assuaged with sherry, as you might surmise, one finds, after all, how to survive the harsh raiment of a hard frost, the long sweep of bitten linen, bitter lemon that stood loaded in the corner. Sunbeam and moonray alike to me now, honey nor more than wine, no longer a grave matter that, the harder the frost, the steadier the crystal, and soonest melted is nature betrayed, springtime cheated. What worries have I in the grave? I am the stuff of emeralds. Seeds fall from above. That's all I know. Minute to minute, the bursting open. So that's before the time before I was on the antipsychotic drugs. But I wasn't on anything when Emily Dickinson came. And then I want to do a little cover poem by Alberto Rios. And it's only the second part of his poem, Dia de los Muertos. So, yeah, I think it's a very nice part of it. It's 4 parts. You should look it up and see the other parts too. Alberto Rios. The Day of the Dead. It's really the days of the dead. All Saints' Day, the 1st of November, also called Dia de los Angelitos. Everybody thinks it's Day of the Dead, but it's not exactly. This first day is for those who have died a saint, and for the small innocents, the criaturas, the tender creatures who have been taken from us all, sometimes without a name. To die a saint deserves its day, to die a child. The following day, the 2nd of November, this is for everybody else who has died. And there are so many. A grandmother, a father, a distant uncle or lost cousin. It is hard enough to keep track, even within one's own family. But the day belongs to everyone. So many home altars, so many parents gone, so many husbands, so many Aunt Normas, so many Connies and Matildas, countless friends. Still, by the end of the day, we all ask ourselves the same thing. Isn't this all over yet? Thank you, everybody. I think I wrote, except for the Emily Dickinson poem, I think I wrote those 2 elegies when I was in Tumblewords. So do come to Tumblewords. It's at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. And last week we had Kit Wren. I forget who's coming up. Say it.
It's Bill Sparks next week.
Oh, that's right. Bill Sparks is doing Veterans Day workshop. Should be good. Bill does a good workshop. So thank you, Richie. Back to you.
Appreciate that. Looking forward to it. And for those of you that are tuning in, just getting here, welcome to our open mic, our online open mic. And if you are interested in doing some more writing, Tumbleword is definitely one of the spots to check out. It's generative writing. Someone leads it every week. And it's just a really good opportunity to just get some new stuff to work with, some raw materials, if you will. Okay, so we're going to go and continue. Glad to see so many of you guys here in the live chat. Good. Welcome, welcome. All right. We're gonna go ahead and continue. One of our hosts, Fernando Antonio Montejano, who many of you have met, aka the King Grizz, has been doing this joke where he does a mic check. Mic check, mic check. Are there any mics in the house? Well, that wouldn't work here because we do have a mic in the house, and he is next. Everyone, it's Michael Sindler. When you're ready, go and take it away. Happy Monday.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here as always. Um, and before I get started, I want to go ahead and put up my little card for lighthousewriters.org. Wonderful organization, got all kinds of classes and workshops and other things going on. Well worth checking out no matter what kind of writing you do and whatever level you're at and whatever you particularly need to work on within that. Obviously, we're all on pins and needles right now. And for those who don't know, Brian Franco does a nice little open mic in the afternoons twice a month, and it's real casual. And I pulled out this piece that I wrote like 2 elections ago and had never read. And I went, what the hell? I'll read it here too, even though it's very rough. It's called Americans. Billy will not wear a mask. Billy is a total ass. Steve is wary of 5G. FSS, what stupidity. Bobby says all them liberals are fools. Bobby swims in a shallow gene pool. Nancy's quick to call the cops. Her racist antics never stop. Sam slanders Soros and Bill Gates. There's no rhyme or reason to his hate. Dave wants Kamala locked up, but isn't really sure for what. Jimmy screams, the election was rigged. Jimmy's IQ's not very big. Scott dresses up in camo gear. He acts tough because he's full of fear. Dan blames everything on socialists. When nature gave out brain cells, he got missed. Ralph thinks abortion is a sin, but it's not pro-life for live children. They rant, they howl, they beat their chests, so you'll know real Americans are best. And basically, they can all bite me right now. I'm going to move on to one that's sort of semi-timely, called Recipe for Thanksgiving. Preheat emulsion to near boil. Combine standard nuclear family or closest approximate with assorted cousins, uncles, aunts, husbands, wives, lovers, friends, neighbors, and associates into a too small household. Knead together into clumps in living room. Stew in heat from competing TV sports events, news shows, and personal devices. transfer conglomerate into dining room. Pepper and spice concoction with inflammatory conversation, including but not limited to politics, sex, and religion. Add excessive amounts of alcohol. When fully marinated and scrambled with assorted intoxicants, add large dollops of innuendo and recrimination. Let simmer for entire evening until whole dish is boiled. Stash all ingredients into memory to forget or stew on for remainder of year. And I'm going to move on from my stuff now and put on the hat and read people who are better than me. And the first of them is this crazy old guy named Walt Whitman. And this is called Election Day, November 1884. If I should need to name, oh, Western world, your powerfulest scene and show, 'twould not be you, Niagara, nor you, ye limitless prairies, nor your huge rifts of canyons, Colorado, nor you, Yosemite, nor Yellowstone, with all its spasmic geyser loops ascending to the skies, appearing and disappearing, nor Oregon's white cones, nor Huron's belt of mighty lakes, nor Mississippi's stream. This seeming hemisphere's humanity is now I'd name the still small voice vibrating America's choosing day. The heart of it not in the chosen, the act itself, the main, the quadrennial choosing, the stretch of north and south aroused, seaboard and inland, Texas to Maine, the prairie states, Vermont, Virginia, California, the final ballot shower from east to west, the paradox and conflict, the countless snowflakes falling, us wordless conflict, yet more than all Rome's wars of old or modern Napoleons, the peaceful choice of all, or good or ill humanity, welcoming the darker odds, the dross, foams and ferments, the wine it serves to purify, while the heart pants, life glows. These stormy gusts and winds waft precious ships, swelled Washington's, Jefferson's, Lincoln's sails. So that's worth thinking about. And so is one by one of my absolute favorite contemporary poets who I just cannot say enough. And it's Jane Hirshfield. And this is called Let Them Not Say. Let them not say, we did not see it. We saw. Let them not say, we did not hear it. We heard. Let them not say, they did not taste it. We ate. We trembled. Let them not say, it was not spoken, not written. We spoke. We witnessed with voices and hands. Let them not say, they did nothing. We did not enough. Let them say, as they must say something, a kerosene beauty, it burned. Let them say we warmed ourselves by it, read by its light, praised, and it burned. And she wrote that 10 years ago in 2014. Thank y'all very much.
All right. No, thank you, Mike. Appreciate that as always for what you do. Lots of praise, not only here in the Zoom call, but also on YouTube. So, once again, welcome to our online mic. If you're just getting here, shout out to everyone. Good to see you guys hanging out with us. I love it. All right. Again, if you're here for EPCC Tejano Passport, stick around. I will let you know how to get that. But right now, we're going to go ahead and tune in with Doc, who's joining us once again, not the first time, from a hospital bed in South Euclid. Doc, when you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Very good.
Hey.
I didn't have a chance to set up my second Sunday Poets yet. I'm hoping tomorrow or Wednesday I'll get a chance to do that. Just a two-line thing that I wrote a couple of years ago. Poetry is my emotions, my tears, me, in language as infinite as longing. And then my first poem tonight is titled Autumn Nights. Autumn nights flow through time, filled with sense of color and change. They connect past and future, remember summer warmth, envision winter cold and spring to come. Redolent of celebration and the supernatural, harvests and Halloween and Dias de los Muertos, aromas of fires of home and hearth and the warmth of love. I take my ease in a comfortable chair, a mug of tea by my side, a good book in my hands, a purring cat in my lap, and peace descends. And my second poem is one I just literally wrote. Its title is Autumn. Autumn, a chiaroscuro of color, explodes upon the scene in a crescendo of hues, a brilliance of sunlight, and a chorus of deepest leaves. Aeolus's songs whisper through the trees in sotto voce paeans to spring and summer past, becoming strident chant of winter's coming. Fallen leaves skitter down the walk, ghostly sounds in the cool, dark, late evening, bright colors becoming dark bronze and brown, to kiss and return to Gaia's womb, and the age-old samsara of life continues. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doc. Hopefully, you heal up soon, and we get to see you behind your dragonfly and primordial background there. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us, and now rest up. All right.
I'll try.
Yeah, it's hardcore, man. It's like I still gotta perform. I'm gonna call in from the hospital bed. Appreciate you,
Yep.
man. All right. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and continue, everyone. Once again, happy to have you guys here. We are going to stop by now in Austin, where we have Klein. Klein Wan Lee is going to share a little something. So, Klein, it's been a little while, so it's good to see you again. When you are ready, ooh, your camera's doing things. Let's get you on here. All right. When you're ready.
All right, so yeah, my camera, I don't know why. I got a new computer and it just kind of like follows my face around, so that might be a little bit of a thing. But anyways, the first performance I want to do, before I get to that, all the poems and prose and everything, you guys are cooking. Just want to say that. You guys are doing an amazing job. I love listening to it. I love the diction, especially. But the first thing I want to do, I guess you could call it a cover poem in the form of a skit. So you might be wondering, what am I wearing? And if you know the movie Nacho Libre, that's I'm essentially doing a scene from that. And my girlfriend Kayleen, if you look at what she's wearing the nun costume. This is kind of a tribute to Halloween a little bit. So we'll just get started, I suppose.
Yeah, were we able to were we able to were we able to spotlight both of us? Is that possible?
Hopefully it doesn't miss. Oh, it's not moving, camera.
Richie can do
I
it.
I thought you were. My bad. Let's see.
Yes, we can spotlight both of you, but you'll be sharing the screen at the same time.
I think that's the point.
So, like, oh, whoops.
Oh, Kid, are you doing it too? Is that
Yes. There we
okay?
We're ready? All right, we'll start.
Where are your robes, Ignacio?
They were stinky. These are my recreational clothes.
They look expensive.
Thank you. I mean, they may give the appearance of riches, but beneath the clothes, we find a man. And beneath the man, we find his nucleus. All right. So that was
Thank you.
for
That's
Yeah, you have a
what I
plate.
wanted to do. Thank you.
Okay, so now to kind of the poem I wrote. It's so I like to study science stuff. That's like my major in college. So kind of what I write has to do a lot with scientific determinism and sort of philosophies. So this is it. It's titled Nothing Has Meaning with a question mark. And I also would consider this an ode to love. Here it goes. Listen, what you see is just what you create. Your brain is simply a collection of neurons which propagate signals. Your brain's a cluster of cells with ions in a debate, forming a world almost entirely explainable via this physiological state. What God would allow so much suffering within the natural order of biological life? So much unnecessary pain response. Your chemicals, you act as if you don't know, yet you fear the things that don't show. Picture, for instance, do you understand what is GMO? It's just a change in DNA. Emotions are simply yet another explainable pathway via circuits. Do you realize that your entire being and experience is entirely dictated by charged ions flowing in and out of protein channels, which open or close in response to changes in the environment? Do you know what the fuck that means? Do you understand the consequences of this? Your entire life started from the spark of inception, simply a series of reactions balancing energy levels to ensure you don't run out. You are merely sequences, nitrogenous bases aligned. We can decode entire genomes. Your uniqueness is already empirically defined. You don't believe me? How do you think advertisements work? You are a controllable, malleable, and frankly, unreal organism. You are a biological robot. You are a biological robot, a puppet on a string. Free will is an illusion, and decisions are not real. They're just what the neurons think. What other conclusion can you draw? Life is meaningless, and on top of this, we die. Time will pass, and humanity will die out. There's no beating entropy. There is no beating physics. There is no rising above what you are. Only in literature and art can you imagine a world where this is true. Your emotions are predictable, like a ball thrown into the air. It is calculated in its entirety. Yet, life is meaningless, but not for me. We don't exist in a world we cannot see. We don't live in truth, but in a grand mystery. We exist either as or to experience, perhaps both. There are wavelengths of light to us. Color. I love colors. There are differences in kinetic energy. To us, a warm summer breeze. There are vibrations in the air. To us, a wonderful song. There are physical contacts, a knife which backstabs. There are patterns. To us, life and death. With this, what other conclusion can I draw? Exists a specific series of interactions which produces this effect I call emotion. There is no way to describe this subjective phenomenon unless you already understand it. This thing somehow is located partially outside the tangible. But it is more than just an explanation, more than just a phenomenon. It is feeling, a new noun, a new science. With this, I beg, what other conclusion can I draw? Despite the truth and whatever the hell I am, I love. There is no objective explanation to a subjective experience, only attempts. That's the point of art and literature, right? Well, this is my attempt. Kayleen, you add an eternal element of meaning to my life. So that was my main poem. I was feeling very kind of upset with kind of how people hold on to things that aren't necessarily true. And that kind of can make me feel, I can see damage that is done from that. And it's like, why can't we just accept what reality really is? So I love philosophy because of that. And I might have, I wasn't really tracking time, so I don't know if I have time for another one. Okay, I'll do another one. I call this one Beauty. This one's also kind of that same type of vibe where it's like philosophical, deterministic, but we still have to have an optimistic outlook on life. Optimistic pessimism or whatever it's called. So here it is. It's hard. It's okay to recognize that it's hard. Relatively simple, yes. Figured out, yes. It's still not easy. Each day is easy, but together they're difficult. I want to be with her so bad. Why must I remain for another 2 years? Why do I allow myself to be alone, carrying the weight I need to shed? Why does it infect me? Why does it take seemingly so long to shed indoctrination away? Why am I asked to succumb to dependency when I am entirely capable? I take a step away from the golden path, and self-sabotage awakens. A learned homeostasis to such a state not optimal for my health. It feels like I do, but I still must unleash myself from the unnecessary mechanisms. A burning desire to be myself. A burning desire to live according to myself. Obstacles of others as a mask to myself. This conflict within, dictated by a previous self constructed by the desires of others. A universe turns into a galaxy, into a solar system, planet, continent, state, country, city, campus, turtle pond, chair, and then finally a soul from living beings to eukaryotes, to mammals, humans, to students, to the specific students which study what I do, and then me. There's a moment in time from eons to centuries, to decades, to years, to months, to the day, the hour, the minute, the second, and the very instant, the Planck, whatever the fundamental time is. From a perspective of objective insignificance to subjective reason, The fact is recognized and understood, yet not applied or appreciated. Only halfway. Release is imminent and constant, gradual, not immediate, as the realization will be. When will I be the person that I am proud of? Let my mistakes be from my own accord and not the teachings of others as remnants in my mind. It feels impossible to not be a product of the environment, but such a feeling doesn't dictate the truth. The voice that fights with me can relax. It's embedded more than expected. I know what I truly want. Will I help myself see it out? This misunderstood enemy is nothing more than myself. There's only one side. Love will prevail. The hardest part of life is embracing love to its fullest extent. Love is the pathway. It is the only pathway to a fulfilling life. Unfortunately, love is the most difficult of all. Yet from there, it derives its omnipotent beauty. And that was that poem. I want to say, whenever I talk about love, obviously it's not specific to a specific type of love. You can have self-love, you can love your friends, you can love your family, you can love a romantic relationship. There's so many different ways you can have of love. So yeah, that was my thank you guys for listening.
All right, a full-on set. Thank you, Klein. It has been a while. Thanks for coming through. Appreciated the collab. I know a lot of people found that very fun. As a Saganist myself, let me repeat, Carl Sagan, right? I love a little bit of science imbued into the poems, a little philosophical existentialisms. Yeah, super fun. It's fun to muse on love. Yeah, I'm reading Robin's quote right now. The Greeks had 5 words for love. Exactly. Have a little bit of was it Plato dialogue there? Not dialogue. Symposium. Let's have a love symposium part 2 on Zoom right now. Okay. No, appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go and keep this going. You saw her on the screen right now. So now to share some of her own words as well as promote an upcoming show. Let's welcome to the show Kiwi. When you're ready, go ahead and take the stage. Hey.
Hi. Oh, I forgot I still have my nun thing. It's okay. It's okay. I think I'll I think it'll prepare me for my poem. Okay. Well, I think death was too scandalized at my old church. I remember the priest would say, "Once the spirit leaves, its mortal duties die, and its soul begins." This is true. I mean, we never really were our bodies to begin with. I think they're just vessels that rust and appeal to emotions more than anything. A body decays and a spirit ascends and meets God's love or judgment in heaven or in hell. Amen, amen, amen. Por mi culpa, por mi culpa, por mi grande culpa. You see, I think that's where it stretches. I'd like to think that the rotting of one's flesh needs to be witnessed. The morbid reality that life needs to connect with. A candle once lit on both ends will meet briefly and shine brighter than any individual flame. I'd like to think that this can be a balance of life and death. When my godfather's flame smoked, I was nearby. We had all seen him flicker more than what a miracle is short-circuited to be, and the moment the news carried to me, I was stunned to think that death caught him. I thought the Reaper missed intentionally after his first attempt, and the second, and when the train hit him. But after his surgery, and his journey, and his marriage, and his kids and his store and his legacy. I remember I was able to first cross him in the church. I was a newborn when we first met, but I assure you, he smelled like calamity, like a shushed wind from a tornado and a white noise to a murmur. We met formally as family when he bathed me in holy water and cradled my head full of whiplash beads to a priestess mercy. And I cried loudly, and I wailed, and I hung to his arms from subtly being submerged. And I remember that was the first time he started the head pats. Through the years, I realized he was my father away from home. He promised stability when parents couldn't. And now I reconcile with the fond memories of him never being complacent. Yes, I believe he would wander a lot more than being found. He was nimble, despite the lack of limbs, and the crutches worked as those good replacements. He was fearless, and after being fearful for what the world would bring him, he laughed at its face. And he laughed exactly like how I imagined would have if God had just gifted them a voice that humans could comprehend. He was stealthy and sneaky, despite having knocks on the ground, announcing him after every step. He spoke with a careful, sharp inhale as if he blew the words onto a drift and quilled our ears to listen. He'd dance in one direction and stick with it till he fell, and sometimes, if we were caught in the jig, he would twirl me in his hardened palms. And I would feel like I wound up ballerina, and the tip of my pretty porcelain fingers were being twiddled against his mechanical hand. And they were rough and gray and ashed from mechanical work. He would fumble in his pockets for a wrench and sometimes would come over a chocolate we hoped he never ate. His hands were exactly like how I imagined the creator of the world was when he drafted for sand and twig to make bone and flesh, worn out hands that make sparks fly and brighten a shop. That was my godfather. That was life. And I remember his calloused hands and clasping to mine, and my fingers only reaching to the end of his circular wrinkled palm. You see, my godfather knew life and death like friends from another timeline. I reach out from understanding he knew life and death like brothers, twin flames to our twin flames, and that's why I believe you must stay with the deceased body briefly, so that you witness their connection. Moments when two lights intercept, they illuminate a corner to open up a new space. Make peace with the light you can't see, peace with his own thoughts and his physical comfort. And remember how he would dance and how he would breathe and how he'd pat my head and how he'd love. What more could we do but grieve for the time you can't count and for the love you can't express? And my second piece will be some new shit. I'm very ecstatic about this. Okay. I think it also fits with my nun. So, women have to be a lot. I mean, aside from the private sphere and the public domain, a lot about a woman is being capable and ever adaptive when it comes to weaponizing intersectionality, as a mother or as a daughter, a student, a teacher, a performer, a writer, a musician, anything that makes her witnessed and respected, anything that allows her to take space. You see, the void of taking space is the suffocating balance of trade-off, of responsibilities when there are expectations and there are dreams. You see, in the mind of a mad woman who needs to be it all and needs to take responsibility and yet does not want to be called out. In the shadow of this patriarchy and the political movement of this reduction of women, how small can you make yourself, they demand? How big can you make yourself until you start stepping on another woman's shoe? How sharp must the heel be when you go out? And when you love, who will you be the most vulnerable to? Who will milk my skin and make me malleable? Who gets to decide what geometry I can be? How should I bend? Is this okay? How intolerable is my circle? How silent shall I suffocate? Is this okay, Mom? Is this okay? How long do I hold still? How far should I keep running? What if my pencil won't write anymore? What if my legs give out? What if I try to mold my skin and it's sticky on. It's sticking to me and it's falling off. And put some glue here. Lift my cheekbones a bit higher. Give me the knife. I'll do it myself. Be the change. Make the change. I am different. Look how sharp my teeth is. Look how my daughter walks. See, she has her head high and I can't look up further. You see, a woman has to balance what she can be, what she ought to be, what's expected of her to be, and at the same time, be able to take it all off and be a little bit less seen, be a little bit less mysterious, be something secretive as a sack of skin, not of our body. You see, sometimes I dream of being a second skin, of remaking myself in another. And it's a mutual fantasy, I learned, one shared by both modernists seeking to be outside of their skins, by racialized subjects looking to escape the burdens of epidermal inscriptions. And when I watched a film, Woman of the Hour, I was petrified to find that women had all felt the same way that I have. This fear of being known, this fear of men. And I thought that was it. I thought I needed to be still. But on the inside, I'm vibrating. Either way, what could only be seen considered a seeming symptom of rabies that foams at the mouth and shakes in the left leg every time I make eye contact with another man, like a dog that has a bad case of ticks, so he's kicking himself to remove the tick or let it move to another place, or perhaps like a pecking bird that found a good tree to hollow out and I just found a good rhythm to peck at, like I'm just a door rattle meant to shake, but only when irked, only when set in motion. You see, my whole being is just a trigger waiting to be let out. We're just buzzing with potential energy, and yet we need a man to irk us, to move us, and yet we need interaction to do it. So who was the first one? Who was the first one who was willing to be the first to fold and produce a domino effect of vulnerability? Well, me right now. Me, I have the urge to talk to this guy next to me and ask him about the weather. It's harmless. I get why we start with the weather. I mean, we all feel it and see it likely the same way. It's good, harmless commentary that settles the jitters over having an audacity to speak when you really don't have to. But then there's that that's that conformity to that idea that we have to wait for some permission to speak. You see, the Jehovah Witnesses people are really good at settling those jitters. They sweet talk you by asking you, how are you? And then if you answer, you're so fucked. Because now you got to ask him the same. You got to talk about how you should let God in your life again. And then he's the kinetic energy waiting to give you motion, a permission. You have to know that you're designed that way. But then again, I'm not inert. I'm actually livid with a whole lot of audacity. and a good amount of consideration, where if I ask about the weather, I might just agree that it has been pretty hot. And I might complain that my turtlenecks will never see the light of day. But yeah, the night's where I am. And you are too. And somehow we just moved about the same way that we interacted. Well, how cool is that? Thank you. Um, so there is this upcoming show that I will be doing an open mic event with. It's going to be at the Nitty Gritty open mic. It's going to be on November 9th. I believe that's this Saturday. Tickets are available now. I will definitely send them in the link in the YouTube chat and also on the Zoom. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Love it. Love it. Love the cat as well. All right. Awesome stuff. Great performance. Like the pacing, the rhythm, the obviously the diction, killing it. And as always, shout out to Nitty Gritty, uh, the homies. We've been working together for years. I was one of their first features, so that was super fun to do. Uh, and as soon as I'm free, I'll be back. Okay, so we're gonna go from Kiwi in El Paso. I also forgot to mention Kiwi Corner, the blog. But yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that link as well for the show. We're gonna go from El Paso to South Carolina, where our next performer is Swaggy. What's up, man? Let's go ahead and get you on the show. Welcome back.
Yeah,
Yo.
welcome back, Richie. Um, Good to see everybody. Forgive me, first of all, for joining from the bed. It has been kind of a tiring day for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these two things, this poem and this song, knocked out of the way so I can give everyone else some time. So I I I have this song that I'm going to try to screen share. Um, so if you guys could just bear with me here for one small second. Um, okay, so it's not letting me screen share, so let me try something else. Can everybody see?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. Your video on YouTube. We got it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this song, I'm gonna pause it for a little bit before I play it. Um, okay, so the song that I'm sharing is called Fight, because if most of y'all can remember, those are the words that Trump was saying as he uh almost got assassinated a couple months ago when he stood up in the air and he held his fist up. So yeah, I wanted to share the song, especially as we're approaching the election in about 17, 18 hours from now. So yeah, without further ado, this is Fight from yours truly.
the music might be blocked from being seen on Zoom. I think because we're not getting any video or audio right now from YouTube. Hey, Warren, we're not getting any video or audio out of that. All right, hold on a second. Let me see if I can. Hmm. I don't know if you can hear me, Warren. Um, Let me see, what can we do? Okay, hey man, can you hear me now? We weren't getting any video or audio out of it.
What happened?
We weren't able to see I think Zoom might have block from YouTube if you're live streaming in order so we don't like copyrights like use people's content, I guess. I think there's like a blocker on it. So we just got a black screen with no sound, unfortunately.
Oh, really? Is any
Yeah.
are you is anyone else seeing the same thing?
Yeah, I think that's what everyone was saying
Yeah.
here and
Yes.
on YouTube. So what you can do is maybe just share the link. We'll post it on YouTube, and then if you want to share your piece, I guess
Right.
yeah, because
Hate
I
when that
forgot.
happens. That's let me
Yeah.
tell you, Rich, that's happened before at other open mics, but I was hoping it wouldn't happen here. Oh man, I hate when that. Oh, all right. I need it. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do, Rich, I'm going to um privately message you the link and then um I guess you can share it from your end.
We will do that for sure.
I apologize about that, guys. Please do forgive me. All right, so I just sent it to you.
All right, cool. I posted it on our YouTube link, but I don't know if you want to share like any spoken word stuff.
Yeah, I do. I
I
do
don't.
have a poem that I'm gonna share. Um, so yeah. Um, Before I share this poem, uh, again, as you guys have probably already been told already, if you haven't done so already, please do go out and vote. Tomorrow is election day, and I know it's easier said than done, but um, trust me, you guys really don't know how much your vote will make a difference in this election. So I urge you, if you haven't done so already, please go and do that. So yeah, without further ado, this poem is entitled "Jesus Didn't Vote Today." So here we go. Jesus didn't vote today, not tomorrow, not yesterday. Jesus didn't need the bullet or the ballot box or the bomb or bayonet or budget. Jesus didn't vote today. Jesus didn't authorize drone strikes to kill thousands. Jesus didn't occupy other countries with standing armies. Jesus was occupied by the Holy Spirit that occupies us even still. Jesus was occupied by the truth of radical love. Jesus was not a feeble, timid, compromised, casual, comfortable, middle class, or otherwise complacent approximation or estimation of the truth. Jesus is the truth. Jesus didn't vote today. Jesus is not totalitarian surveillance state and war machine without end. He is the peace that passes understanding. He is the peace that Brother Berrigan said is at least as costly as war, the peace that cost the cross. Jesus didn't vote today, not for apathy, but because the lesser of two evils is still evil, is still the servant of the devil. Get behind me, Satan. Jesus didn't vote today. He said, render under the Caesar for a reason, for all our money is marked with the blood of war and idolatry of empire. Jesus didn't vote today. He did not advocate the separation of church and state. Jesus abolishes all separation and smashes all states. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Vote if you must on Tuesday, but feed the poor the next day and every day. Vote if you must, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, or Green. But live like the kingdom is here by practicing peace, justice, charity, mercy, grace, and most of all, love. Love is your everyday politics and what transcends your Sabbath piety. Jesus didn't vote today because his ballot is his body. Our evidence is this bread because his candidacy is on the cross, because democracy is not God, just our latest attempt at playing God. Jesus didn't vote today, but the gospel of radical love removed the log in the pundit's eye. That is the illusion that voting could or would repair, redeem, or restore the world. Jesus didn't vote today, but he did disabuse us of the lie that he did or would endorse or condone this scheme of things. Jesus died for our sins. He didn't vote for 4 more years of them. Jesus didn't vote today. Poem.
Yeah, well,
Thank
thanks for
y'all.
sharing that, man. Appreciate that. How can people follow, support your work online? I know you got your YouTube channel. Anything else?
So for the people here on Zoom, uh, stay tuned. I'm gonna send all of uh, my links and stuff in the chat. Um, but for those of you who are watching online, you can follow me on Instagram at Warren S. Dixon. Uh, and that's also the same on my TikTok, Snapchat, Swagman Warren, all lowercase. And you can check out the video for my Fight 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 song on YouTube. Unfortunately, you guys were unable to see it on here, but if you go on YouTube and check out the video and the song for that, it's on there as well. So yeah, but thank you, Rich, for letting me share, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, no problem. And we did share the link to the video. A few people did watch it, and they have thumbs up. They were really digging it. So yeah, thanks for the pieces there. Glad you could make it. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, this is our online mic. We've had quite a few people on. As soon you can, I think you can go and rewind. If not, as soon as we're done, there's a replay. You can go back to the beginning of the show in case you missed anyone. Lots of great performances and performers and readings so far, but we have plenty more. In fact, he's been name dropped as he often is by the time it is his turn to get on here. Let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Monday Night, the one, the only Kit Ren. What's up, man?
What's up, Richie? We went in overtime, so that's good. That's an important thing about my life. Hello, everyone, both here and in the future. Two very stark futures. Really possible. But yes, vote if you haven't, unless you disagree with me. In that case, just don't worry about it. Gonna do 3 of mine and then the cover poem. If you were here for my mother's set earlier for Robin Schofield's set, she wrote the poem I've been trying to write for many years about my friend David. This is one of my attempts at that. I have written praise poems about David before. I've put them in manuscripts and submissions, but I rarely, if ever, read them. I have known the absence of David for longer than I knew David. It's been 17 years. So in 2 more years, that'll be true for everyone, even his sister. Something we desperately want to be true, that the negative experiences in our lives teach. I don't know if I've learned anything from my best friend dying at 19. Every time grief comes again, I stick my hand out and formally introduce myself. Other people's tragedies strike me with awe and fear. I completely forget that anything bad has ever happened to me. I feel uniquely unsuited to help. I've learned from all of this how small we all are, and how there is nobody who won't be missed. And that John Donne wrote that every death diminishes me because I am interested in mankind. And that never feels like the right thing to say to someone else. And another attempt at an elegy that I wrote this year. This one was for this is very primordial. This is straight from Tumblewords. I haven't really given it any sort of shine or polish, but this is speaking of Tumblewords, this is something I wrote about Donna Snyder, my predecessor in the Tumblewords project, and might be taking some inside things outside, but mumble transition. There was trust despite me not being trustworthy. So I want to show her that her risk was rewarded and that her name is alive. But I can't even show that to her ashes. They are God knows where. In art, we tend to admire the passionate amateur over the beige professional. It has proven to be a mistake to apply that dichotomy to hospice care. She called us all fake, and she stole your urn and some books. I guess we didn't deserve them in her estimation. I am forced to admit that this would be funny if I read about it. If it was the end of a headline that started with Florida Man. I often wonder why ghosts with the ability to reach the entire cosmos would stay in their familiar haunts instead. These questions of ashes and legacy are nothing compared to the Horseshoe Nebula, to the firmament that moves much more than Dante theorized. And so I take encouragement and solace in the indifference of the dead. That what enrages someone enough to steal an urn couldn't possibly disturb their contents. It's fucked up, right? Life will kill you. That's what I say. And a more polished one, probably the most political one in my little wheelhouse, but on hearing that these at last are the end times, I think of the great dictator Salazar, who awoke from a long coma to a newly democratic Portugal. I think of the aides who printed fake newspapers and diplomatic cables so he could live out his life contentedly. I think of Tsar Nicholas II cracking down on a spontaneous march that was in his honor, because no marches meant no marches. I think of Franco using state power to make sure his favorite player went to his favorite team, and that, kids, is why we don't root for Real Madrid in this house. I think of Richard Nixon sending in a play to George Allen on the Washington sidelines. It lost 8 yards. I think of Hitler's paintings, Stalin's poetry, and Saddam Hussein's pseudonymous romance novels. Look it up. I think that Yeats wanted to be a wizard, and Crowley wanted to be a poet, and so they lived lives of unmoored homoerotic jealousy. I think of the quack doctor who shoved food up President Garfield's rectum for months. The assassin's bullet might not even get an assist on the stat sheet. I think of the Sultan who killed Genghis Khan's messengers, and when the Khan sent follow-up messengers, he maimed them. They were sent to see if there was some mistake. Oh, there certainly was. I think of Gregory of Tours, writing the history of the Franks by candlelight. He knows he's not up to the job, but he knows the end is near. It's almost 600. And nobody else is up to it either, because he lives in a fallen time. I come at last to my point. I do not think that we are devolving. I think we've always been about this stupid. This age is louder, true. The destruction of all hierarchy of authority sounded better in the brochure. We have a machine in our pocket that screams at us, and so we scream back, trying to win. But we did not invent screaming. The idiot is Wi-Fi enhanced, but not Wi-Fi enabled. Just outside the frame of every old master is a man. Statistically speaking, he is a man who is deeply mistaken about the nature of the world. And for my cover poem, the hits just keep coming. For my cover poem, I'm going to do, by one of the greats, I'm going to do Shine Perishing Republic by Robinson Jeffers. While this America settles in the mold of its vulgarity, heavily thickening to empire and protest, only a bubble in the molten mass pops and sighs out, and the mass hardens. I, sadly smiling, remember that the flower fades to make fruit, the fruit rots to make earth out of the mother, and through the spring exultances, ripeness and decadence, and home to the mother. You making haste on decay, not blameworthy. Life is good, be it stubbornly long or suddenly a mortal splendor. Meteors are not needed less than mountains. Shine, perishing republic. But for my children, I would have them keep their distance from the thickening center. Corruption never has been compulsory. When the cities lie at the monster's feet, there are left the mountains. And boys, be in nothing so moderate as in love of man. A clever servant, insufferable master. There is the trap that catches noblest spirits, that caught, they say, God when he walked on earth. Hey, where is my tote bag? Don't worry about it. Y'all know what I'm going to plug here anyway, the Tumbleworks Project. We're a generative writing workshop. We meet on Saturdays over Zoom, just like this lovely mic we've been having tonight. And it's one of our annual Set It and Forget It workshops. Very happy to once again have Bill Sparks present on Veterans Day with some prompts based on his experience as a veteran and from many different works by veterans. Let's see. And then November 16th will be Sandy Torres, who's out, making waves in the comments on YouTube right now, I'm certain. And she has a great workshop called Life on the Road, which is based on Bob Dylan. Rock on. That's right. Just in time for that movie with what's his name? With not Bob Dylan. And November 23rd, we've had to cut our ties with NaNoWriMo over a few different issues, but Michelle Manadas, their former ML here, is trying to get her own group off the ground. So we'll be welcoming the fiction crafters to Tumblewords on November 23rd. So that's our plans for the rest of the month. And also on this very mic, let's see, it'll be the 25th. November 25th, we've introduced you to the cover poem. It's a pretty simple concept. Something we like to do is instead of paying attention to the dead masters, we like to turn this into a peer-to-peer situation. And so the Monday before Thanksgiving, we like to have what we call the poetry potluck, where everybody reads each other's poems. So, make a friend, reach out, and read someone else's work on November 25th. That's what we like to do around here. So that's going to be a fun thing that we have on the calendar. And I think that's it for me. And yes, you're right. And let's go back to Richie.
All right. Thank you, Kit. Appreciate that. Yes, tune in for our annual poetry potluck, something we've been doing now for a couple of years. So you have a couple of weeks to reach out to people and ask for copies of their poems so you can read it. We'd also welcome musicians to do the same. If anyone wants to read lyrics from a musician that's come out to these, or vice versa, if a musician wants to turn a poem into a song, that'd be kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? Hint, hint, wink, wink. Anyway, look forward to that in a couple of weeks. Again, if you're in the El Paso area, join us tomorrow at Rosewood or Tuesdays downtown El Paso. All right, cool. So we are going to get a little international here. We're going to visit our friend Cassie in Canada. That's right. Cassie in La Casa. And as always, looking forward to her set. Cassie, when you're ready, go ahead and take it away, and I will pin you to the screen. Wait, that sounded weird. I will, yeah. Go and do this thing.
Hi, thank you. Thanks, Richie. All right. I'm gonna do that thing that I used to do incessantly, but haven't in a long time, and ask if I sound like a robot, because I've been having audio troubles again, apparently. Okay. Probably missed that. It's been a long time. Okay. This first poem is untitled, and I kind of believe in not prefacing poems, but I will say that, actually, you know what? I'm gonna stick to that. Okay. This is a fresh poem written just a few hours ago. It's tentatively titled Sleeping Sense of Autonomy. You keep knocking at the door, but this house is large and hollow and feels hard to cross, to answer. The blinds are not drawn. It is a rare occasion indeed I feel the courage to let light in. Sometimes in the middle of a crisis, when the house floods and I am building rafts out of furniture, I hear you throwing stones at my window. Once I looked out to begin to plot my escape of the rising tide, and saw you had managed to slip a note through a small gap in the bottom of the bathroom window. But by the time I had found it, it was sopping wet, and the ink had bled, crying inky tears all over. Crying inky tears over my failure to find it in time, that wept into my palm as I tried to rescue it. From the surviving ink, I deciphered, you will never stop the water until you wake your dormant sense of autonomy, believe again in the strength of your ability to drain any puddles. You are not as helpless as it feels once you have been soaked to the bone. This message didn't drain the water that had pooled around me, but it compelled a part of me to wake long enough to open a window to let some of the water escape before it consumed me whole this time. Okay. So I believe I'm a little disorganized tonight, but I am going to read a cover poem. It is called Late Light Night by L.A. Johnson. In the room of salt air needs open like a sail to carry me across windless seawater. Cold sheets coil into waves. I bathe and cool there, slide the surf around my teeth until they are oiled and waxy as oysters. A pillow rips beneath my head, feathers fall into the sea. Though the There are walls. They look like sunsets through a kaleidoscope. Orange spectrum sways, then softens. In a hush, a door appears and then trembles. Glass rolls into a slow current before vanishing into reflection. The mirror reveals the unseen, floating so low, sheer clouds touch the peaks of waves. Invisible sky above, now visible in the watery bend, while my mind, thin as wire, shivers still. Desire drifts across the dream, stilled landscape, and I listen to its echo until a stranger calls me back. All right. So I like to read more than one cover poem for some reason, but I was disorganized today, so that's all I have for poetry this evening. If you are curious to ever come across more of my poetry, I do frequently share some of it on my Instagram. If you're on Instagram, at Relentless Intrigue. All right, I think that's all for me. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, everyone.
All right, appreciate that. Yeah, as always, that was everything. Whatever you get to share, we love it. And yeah, post more of those poems online. We'd love to see them. Okay. All right. We're gonna go ahead and move on to fall. Sorry. Need some water. Moving on to Falls Church, Virginia. We have a wall poet in the house who looks like they've been involved in some really cool stuff. I'm always a huge fan as well of all the poems. So when you are ready, go ahead and take it away and we'll get you on the screen. Wall poet in the house. All right. Yo, there you are. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, great.
All right, cool. So as you see, I'm at home. My laptop was like in charge, so it's the best way it worked. Usually I'm in my car. But anyways, let's just get started. I have some poems. I think today most of these are older poems. And then I have some cover poems that I wanted to do. So we'll get started. All right. So this first one is called Macho. As a kid, macho meant how many boys I beat in arm wrestling. As a teen, it was how many girls' numbers I got in college. Let me try it again. Macho. As a kid, macho meant how many boys I beat in arm wrestling. As a teen, it was how many girls' numbers I got. In college, it became how many more Miller Lights I could drink than you in one sitting. Growing up, my father told me to only fight when necessary, but never bothered to teach me how. He used to say he didn't want me to fight like he did, but always made sure to mention that at 14, he cracked a boy's nose open like the exocarp of a coconut with his head on the soccer field. After being kicked in the back for making the winning goal, he'd always say, Tienes que ser macho. You need to be a man. Don't ever cry or show emotion. Me, never questioning if this was toxic. Me, never questioning if this thinking was toxic. It was. Remembering how we used to watch wrestling on Saturday mornings, my favorite as a kid was the Macho Man Randy Savage, spray tan with a beard attached to his sideburns while wearing green fluorescent sunglasses in a silk bandana wrapped around his head like a bandage dressing a head wound. Used to kiss hill-shaped muscles and point while he talked really slow. His girlfriend in a miniskirt cheered at every match, and his pink tights jumped off the top rope with an elbow that would fake land on his opponent's ribcage. Looking back, I've overlooked at the absurdity of it all. As I keep aging, I still think about what it now means to be macho. I used to think it was drinking beer, watching football, and yelling at traffic, but oversized shirts and baggy jeans got replaced by skinny jeans and blouses. Isn't it about taking care of your family, being responsible, teaching your daughter how to ride a bike? How about single mothers who can change their own tires, or men wearing a tiara while playing tea party with their daughters? For me, it's being a good father, son, and a husband. But for others, I guess it's still changing. All right, all right, do another one. Okay, this next one is uh, this one I wrote a long time ago when my daughter was 3 years old. She's 16 now. So this one's called Dora the Explorer Haunts Me in My Dreams. It's kind of an animated one. All right. Each stream begins the same. My 3-year-old daughter immersed in the TV. Then out of nowhere, Dora and Boots jump out of the screen and abduct me. Right when I was uploading a picture of my breakfast on the internet in the other room, Dora yanks my hand and Boots leaps on my back, pushing me headfirst into the screen. My daughter, of course, follows, and they begin to do the most horrific things, like take me on their adventures, visiting Abuelita, being approached by trolls with golden beards, and babies with flying capes, all while Boots picks and eats lice from the back of my ears. I try my best to flee, but they seem to drag me along, my daughter the whole time overflowing with glee as terror overcomes me while Swiper swipes my wallet in an obvious attempt of identity theft, and the trees talk and maps repeat who they are over and over again. I'm a map, 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 I'm a map. And it's awful, but she loves it. She's entranced in mastering the Spanish I neglected to teach her because she starts counting uno, dos, tres, cuatro, and saying words I've never taught her, important words like bate, bate, chocolate. And I start thinking, hey, maybe the store character isn't so bad. She doesn't want to take all my money. She's fun, kind of. This is educational after all. It's all for a good cause. Hey, Dora the Explorer is okay with me. Then she starts tugging at my shirt, and finally I crouch down when she tells me, Hola, amigo. I'm glad your daughter sees me every day, but I know she'd rather just spend some more time with you. All right, so we're gonna keep going. All right, next one. This one's called You're Not Worthy. Yeah, and all these are poems I wrote years ago, at least 10 years ago, if not more. All right. I hate rejection, which can be problematic when you fancy yourself a writer and performer. May explain why I constantly need reassurance, people paying attention to me at all times, telling me that I matter. Nonetheless, I still seem to have the ability to find the negative in the most glowing compliments, such as, you're a good writer, turning into an FBI investigator looking for leads that prove they are wrong, falsifying viable evidence and replacing it with the numerous times I've been told, keep at it, a couple more years and you'll make it. Then counting the number of years since I first heard that, I counted over 14. I often wonder what it will actually take to be truly happy, since our wants always outweigh our needs, a bigger house, more children, better job. I desperately long for a time when desperately long for a time when I'm truly satisfied with everything I have and finally learn to see the brighter side of life. But then I ask myself, what would I write about? All right, keep going. And then this is going to be the last one of mine, and I would love to do some cover poems. And that's it. All right, this one's called Old Habits Die Hard. Some things we can't let go of, like an ex we can barely stand, but we still put up with each other's toxic traits just enough to get laid. I compare this feeling to writing. No matter the abundance of responsibility I now have, I long to write a poem, a story, an explanation for myself as to why I don't write as much, as to why I'm afraid to open up like I used to. I used to think this was fun. Now it's a necessity, like masturbation and a cold beer. It's less about proving myself and more about being who I am, a slacker, a dreamer, a pessimist, a poet who wants to be a writer. All right, and then I want to do two cover poems if I can. Yeah, let's try it. All right. So this is kind of cool. I'm not used to doing cover poems, but they're kind of fun. This first one is by Rooney Francisco. The book was like Helium. So yeah, I guess like the poetry. This one's called Accent. Accent is the most popular brand of salt in her country. She gently sprinkles a little on every word before she allows them to pass her lips. This is a ceremony that happens every time she has something to say. When foreign soil and home are synonymous, your mouth becomes a kitchen, each sentence an entree. Every time you speak, you're preparing a meal. The conversation is a dinner party and you are the chef, just hoping that you used all the correct ingredients. So I like that one. And then the other clever poem that I'm doing, this is from my friend Kiki Avalis from DC. He's a DC poet. If you haven't heard about him, look him up. This guy was my mentor. A lot of times, a lot of my writing, I see like his DNA in my writing, some of his stuff rubbed off on me. And this is one of my favorite poems of his. And this is called On the Question of Race, and then this will be the last one. All right. They asked me to write down my race, and I think and think very seriously and consider writing down the truth and have my answer read. I have a dark man listening to a bolero, lighting a match inside his body. I have an old lady showing pictures to her children, talking in a language called Spanish inside his body. I have a drunk man asking for directions. He wants to go home, wants you to tell him which highway leads to Cucauslan. I have a kid in the 5th grade who says he's American, but my father's from El Salvador and my mother's Black. I have all these people, these drums, this guidos, all these aguacates, this prescribed Latin hood, this Spaniard name that doesn't agree with English only. They asked me to write down my race, and I think very seriously and consider writing down the truth and have my answer read. I have my tia Menche, my tia Zuala, a mi abuela, a la señora con chile, a la pupusa lady in Lorenzo's restaurant inside this body. I have 18th and Columbia Road, 15th and Irving, Petworth Shaw, Julio Iglesias, the Jackson 5, and Lilo Gonzalez inside this body. I have a son named John Enrique, who's brown and Black and human and tender. I have you inside this body, but I stop and simply write down Hispanic. All right. So that was cool to do some cover poems and do some of my older poems. If y'all are still interested, keep following me on WallPoet82 on Instagram. And then also I'm on WallPoet8 on WordPress.press. So yeah. Anyways, thanks. This was fun. And you got to see my basement. All right.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Love the poems, and yeah, you should do more cover poems. I'm always interested in what like people share, whether it's inspiring or just fits in some way to your overall theme of like you maybe fitting with your pieces. So thanks for sharing, man. All right, we're gonna go ahead and continue onward, and we're gonna go to Washington, D.C. for our next performer, who is carrying some jokes and some poems. If you've been here before, you already know him. That's right, it's time for the one and only Mr. Fantastic. It's Mr. Ed Poetastic. What's up, man?
Thank you, my brother, like no other words like thunder. And wall poet, oh yeah, that was good. All right, my name is Ed Potato Fantastic. Please tell me you can join my rhyme file sublime. Okay, I got 11 jokes and 3 short poems, so I won't take too much time. The first joke is, what do lumberjacks shout at the start of fall? September! Why do trees hate going to school in the fall? Because they're easily stumped. What's the best band to listen to in autumn? The Spice Girls. What did the leaf say to the other leaf? I'm falling for you. Why do birds fly south for the fall? Because it's quicker than walking. Why did the tree decide to start taking art classes? She wanted to branch out. What's the biggest fall phenomenon in Australia? The Great Burial Leaf. Why is the tree so carefree and easygoing? Because every fall they let loose. Why did the jack-o'-lantern look after the pie? They were pumpkin. What's the saddest side dish? Sweet potato cries. Oh, I love it. What kind of key Can't open doors. Anyone? A turkey. These jokes, I just love seeing people react to them. But anyway, I got two poems from our awesome host slash writer slash amazing guy called Kit Wren. He was in charge of Tumble Words on Saturday. He did a very good job. He always does. This is called well, the theme was if poetry was banned, so this is my poem for that. This is called Give Me Poetry. Give me poetry or give me death. Resist the tormentors in your open mic centers. Use your whirly daggers to attack the attackers. The dream isn't over. Embrace the exposure. Understand stupidity is king. Don't let them clip your wings. I'll embrace the revolution to change the shallow institution. Poetry needs to be spoken, not to be banned or cost a token. If words aren't free, then what is? Don't be mute in the dark abyss. Please fight, riot, or speech. Even the tiny mouse has to squeak. All right, my other one is called Poetry Can Do More. Poetry can do more. It can open your core. It can jab and beg you for more. Poetry lasts throughout time. Poetry is poetry. It doesn't need to rhyme. What what my poetry can do? Okay, let me tell you. My poetry's in rhyme. You don't like it? Well, in due time. My poetry wants you to feel. The more you feel, the better you'll heal. The gaps in between aren't a pain. What's sunshine without rain? The gap could be filled with poetry. Fill it with creativity, positivity, empathy, fantasy, and sympathy in this pale reality. Always remember, I'm your rhyming man. I rhyme more than your fingers on your hands. Please keep on writing, typing, and surviving. Don't cower away because we're all thriving. Thank you. And this is called First Last. First last. We're always behind in the back of our minds. We can't stay blind by the rushing tide. We're all winners. We're all beginners. We're not losers. We're not snoozers. We have unique skills. We can help or kill. We send chills or thrills. We send chills or thrills. We, the queens or kings of the hill. Don't be belittled by society. They don't stand variety. They don't understand who you are. You're a bright, shining star. Please stop having high expectations. Why not go on a stress-free vacation? Who are you trying to impress? Don't press for progress. You want to be like everyone else? You're a book on the globe bookshelf. Why can't you appreciate you? Maybe you need to change your view. Why must you outdo everyone? The moon isn't outdoing the sun. Everything isn't a competition. It's not life's grand definition. Maybe you point the telescope within. Be your cheerleader and your friend. You don't live twice, but once. Be a happy sage than an arrogant dunce. And last but not least, this is called Without Instructions. Without instructions, please go as you flow. If you know, you know. Please be nice and glow. Don't be shallow or hollow. Listen to your gut. Help you out of the rut. Please no more give no fucks. You don't want to be a Peking duck. Please pick up the pieces. The pain might decreases. Please, you're not alone. You're not attached to stone. Everything is a puzzle. Use your cognitive muscle. If it's hard, take a break. Don't stay perplexed or awake. It will come to you. Keep swimming in the blue. Please don't beat yourself up. You can save the dumpster trucks. Rome wasn't created in a day. Go stay or play to enjoy today. If it doesn't come, please don't beat please don't beat a war drum. It takes a bit more time. Some things are worth the climb. Woo!
All right. Hey, Ed, thank you, man. As always, I got to ask the questions. Where can people follow and support you online, Ed?
Well, you can follow me and support me online while come this wonderful open mic that makes your Monday night and such delight in the wonderful, fantastic spotlight. All right. If you have free on Saturday, why not come to Tubble Word so you can fly higher than the birds or come in herds. Don't forget to bring your cheese curds. Okay, I'll stop. before my mind pops. But but if you want to follow me, pills for free. My Facebook is Eddie Foreman and my IG is Eddie Foreman 92. And remember, if the mic's right, I'll be there to shine my I'll be there to shine my protestic insight. If you send me a request, if you take a guess, the answer is yes. Hope everyone stays safe, healthy, and blessed. Now stop spewing the one word such out your chest. Now stop being and feeling and doing your best. Remember, you're more important than you ever know. Don't stop your glow and never ever stop your flow. If you don't know, now you know. How I love this show. Woo!
All right, Ed, as always, dude, thank you for that dynamic performance and entry. Alrighty then. How you guys doing? It's been a fun Monday night as always. We've been doing these every single Monday now, since April 2020, and it's just cool to have something to look forward to do on Mondays because Mondays are like typically and stereotypically the worst day of the week. So here we are kicking it off like that, you know. We got a one more. Hold on, let me check the list because I don't know if anyone else showed up who had signed up. Let me see. Let me see. Um, okay. Is Dan ready?
No,
I
Phil.
think
Giving you a minute. Hold on.
always a minute. Yeah. I don't like pressuring people to read, you know. People are here to hang out. They're here to hang out, but let me know. Um
I'll read.
oh, that's a thumbs up. Okay, hold on then. In that case, hold on, Dan. We are gonna give you a minute, a couple of moments, get a couple of people before you. That was a thumbs up I saw. So we got Phil, aka Midnight in the house, and it's been a long good while, but man, it's good to see you. So I'm gonna go and
Hey,
put you on the spotlight.
I
What's up?
play baseball. I coach softball. I play softball. I play baseball. I coach it. So from February to October, that's my first love, man. Baseball is my happy place. That's my first love. So now it's over. I
No
can
from
come
the
back.
hat.
Michael, what's going on, man?
Yeah, man.
Hey, man. Always good to see you, brother.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm supposed to be up in Denver on Thursday if it doesn't snow.
Ooh.
I got to get an MRI. You get after you play this game, you get hurt along the way. So I got to get an MRI.
Get in touch because, yeah, I'd love to get with you, maybe eat a meal or something.
All right, cool. Your number ain't changed, did it? Cool. Kit just put that shirt on today, but we ain't gonna talk about it.
Oh man. Well,
All right, let
did
me
you?
play around real quick.
Yeah.
Haiku and two pieces and one piece, I guess. Undocumented, forced on ships to work as slaves, was no argument. Haiku. We sexed each other. After the climax, I asked, who sleeps in wet spot? And since the beautiful election is tomorrow, I gotta pull something out of the archive. And this is here you go. Let's go back into history when the world was not that much different. The date, April 15th, 1947. Jackie Robinson breaks tradition, creating a new baseball game. Then Larry Reginald Doby would soon follow. The footsteps of tomorrow for one Henry Louis Aaron. See, he grew up in Jim Crow society, less opportunity, hitting bottle caps with sticks, swinging at rocks, breaking windows. His make-believe baseball games. Reality, racial segregation in public spaces. Facilities for African Americans were without fail inferior. Since Jim Crow institutionalized economic, educational, and social disadvantages. The evil that Henry, nicknamed the Hammer, went through provided a clearer view of what our country thinks of me and you. America tells us to work hard and not complain. Believe in the American dream. Of your ability, he experienced American history. They, the KKK, Knight of America, Dear Mr. Nigger, if you do not retire, your family will inherit a great hit of racism was chasing Aaron as he chased the record, having already witnessed the assassinations of MLK and Malcolm X. These variety of threats, only one needed to be true. Recognizing the importance of this movement for equality, Hammer and Hank, April 1974, baseball game of the week. Vince Scully makes the call. What a marvelous moment for baseball. Atlanta, the country, the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South. Before there could not be two more opposite men, Babe Ruth and Henry Aaron. There's a new home run champion of all time, and his name is Henry Aaron. This can be seen all over the country and all over the world. I hope you are watching. Let's go back into history. January 6, 2020. White privilege still exists through domestic terrorists. Do you see this, or do you see you and I gassed, shot, beaten while peacefully fighting again for equal freedom? Black Lives Matter. In the words of Vince Scully, this could be seen all over the world and all over the country. I hope you are watching.
Dope, man. Dope. If you got anything you want to promote or share right now, we got people who are probably seeing you for the first time.
Man, it's been that long? Good Lord.
Yep.
It's been a while, girls, for real, for real. I still host a open mic on Wednesday, Chance and I, second and fourth Wednesday of the month. Put it in the chat. That's 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we still do that.
And how can people like find out about the shows or like how to access them or contact you to access them?
Well, I have a hard time typing in the on the tablet versus the phone. But you could look me up on Midnight Poet 00 on IG, or Philip J. Curtis, aka they call me Midnight, on Facebook, and the information will be there.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll get some links to share with that. But thanks for coming through, man. We're almost done. So if you want to hang out a little bit and catch up too,
Oh yeah, for sure.
whatever you can, that's fun, man. I think Dan, how you doing? Are you ready? Should I stall? I'm gonna
Yeah.
stall. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm gonna. All right, Dan, here's Dan, everyone. Dan the man.
How's everybody doing tonight? Okay, yeah, we all know we all know the election. Yeah, it is tomorrow, 2024. We've seen it before, like 2016 and 2020. Damn, but there goes nothing, if you know what I mean. So, well, the election, everything's all in the action. Well, if it's not the fraction or the excuse me. Yeah, whether it's a fraction or the expedition. But even though still the election is hold on. Well, the election could be intermission. Well, we don't know which politicians is gonna nab the superstition on the election tomorrow. So well, it is the mission to get one of the parties to, well, who will take the White House? Will it be the man who is going to pull the Grover Cleveland, or the lady who's about to make history once again? Well, Cleveland. Yeah, Grover Cleveland. Yeah, he was the first to do two non-consecutive terms. So, damn. But or we could or pull the Obama repeat. Like he made history, but looks like Kamala Harris might. Or well, let's wait and see. So I don't know how the election will be, but let's wait and see. One big superstition to let it be. So, so here goes nothing. So the premonition is already out of commission. So here goes nothing. So tomorrow is always take a poke, but even though there's no oat, yeah. So just go vote, even though it could rock the boat. If you know what I mean. Okay. And for that, uh, yes. Okay, I already cast my vote, so there goes nothing. Let's wait and see tomorrow. All right. Yeah, like tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow is gonna be a day away. Going to Annie. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And here goes nothing on tomorrow. Okay. But Richie, if there's a craft brew and brews on Friday, I'll swing by. I'll be there. But if not, I don't know if it's this Friday or next Friday, but let's wait and see. So, all right, guys. So
All
for
right.
the rest of you, I'll see you next Monday. So, all right, guys. Here goes nothing.
Okay.
Have a good night. And enjoy the fight tomorrow night, and help the election by light. So, all right, Richie, let's go ahead and call it a night.
Nah, man, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna filibuster the hell out of this.
Yeah.
Nah, thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. I wanted to read a piece, just to try something out here. I know most people usually leave around this point, so the perfect. I get to read to just you guys. No, I wanted to try something here. As always, I'm gonna pull out my trusty copy of a love song, a death rattle, a battle cry. And I'm gonna read a piece that I actually haven't read. It's more of a lyrics that goes with a hip hop track, but I'm gonna try it. It is still a little taxing because he changes his cadence around a little bit, and so I just want to practice a little bit. This is called The Pragmatist's Guide to Revolution. I'm fighting on until my life is gone, even when my version of health insurance is orange juice and tiger balm. Even when my attention is so divided between rapping and writing and activism and surviving. And at any given time, some of us are new to this, but you ain't got to stop listening to Ludacris. You ain't got to dress a certain way, ride your bike in wintertime, shop at the co-op, or ever turn away from who you really are. This movement doesn't need perfect. It just needs us to start working. Radical means you have hope. And sometimes you vote for it. Most of the time, though, you don't. So this is for the ballot, the bullet, the bulletin, and the boycott, for the hand to hand and door to door. More and more, it's growing in popularity. We don't say peace, we say solidarity. With this many hands, we could start a fire. With this many hands, we could start a war. With this many hands, we could build something beautiful. With this many hands, we could do much more. I got a friend who ran for city council and he got elected. I got a friend who ran for school board and he got rejected, but in the process, learned about the process, wrote a couple of grants. Now he runs a nonprofit. I got a friend who never went to college, but knows the first and last names of everyone in his housing project. It starts with the basics. I got another friend who throws parties in his basement, and basically that's just the baseline. Power is 100 people in the same place at the same time, right? But what are you gonna do it with? But what are you going to do with it? I got a friend who knows what the revolution is and knows that through the music is beautiful. It's the people that brings it together who are better, and the senators and representatives who will only bend to the will of the real change makers. My friends, with this many hands, we can start a fire. With this many hands, we can start a war. With this many hands, we could build something beautiful. With this many hands, we could do much more. Shout out to Howard Zinn. Have you ever seen the world through a bomb sight? Have you ever prayed through a darkness beyond night? This song might be a bunker buster, daisy cutter, thermobaric American, crazy proletarian. But when you boil in the belly of the beast, it's scary. So hack out by any means necessary. They're going to call it terrorism either way, so you can't run for the clear or give them something to fear. Come on. I ain't talking about bombs. I ain't talking about Bibles, Torahs, or Qurans. I'm talking about the God that lives in your feet when you're walking, the God that lives in your lips when you're talking, the God that lives in your fists when you fight for something worth fighting for. This whole life is war. And the first step to victory, like Toki Wright said, know the history. An injury to one is an injury to all. Understand me. They step up to your cousin, you run and go get your family. So when they step to you on some realness, you got the whole city rising up, climbing up that double helix. Your job is to protect your family, and your family is everyone. Power to the people. Give it a chance because it'll work. It's the only thing that ever has. Pragmatist Guide to Revolution, Kyle Tranmari, aka Guante. I just reading for this all the time because it's just easier, but it's where I get to practice my recitation cadence. That was hard because he usually raps that, and that was a cappella. Anyway, thank you guys for coming out and hanging around. Again, if you guys are joining us next Monday, look forward to seeing you. Tell your friends, subscribe to our channel, and hopefully we'll also see you at one of our in-person open mics. Have a good night, everyone. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye. Peace.